Hello everyone, Tina here for Queen & Co. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm so glad you stopped by. I have a really fun project to share with you. We are using the Feathered Friends kit from Queen & Co. This is a pretty fabulous kit. Not only does it make shaker cards, but there's a lot of elements in here. A lot of dies that you can create other items with it, especially birds. Of course, Feathered Friends, it's bird themed, and you are just going to fall in love with this. I know I did. Okay, the Feathered Friend, I'm going to go over the kit contents and then we're going to jump in. We're going to create a shaker card, and then I'm also going to share with you a card using just the dies and the Feathered Friends kit. This is your cover sheet. You have some guides on the front. You have greetings that go with the elements, like the bird nest and the cute little bird feeder here. On the reverse side, you have the more detailed die guide showing what you would use to create these images here. I love that. It's kind of like a homework sheet for you. Cheat sheet on putting together the dies. So this is a helpful piece of paper. You don't want to lose that. Keep with your kit. In the kit, you get 12 foam shakers, and then there are 12 acetate pieces. Shaker elements for this kit are the birdhouse, the bird nest, and the bird feeder. Okay, and then of course you get the acetate covers. Also included in the kit is a full-size 6x6 mat stack. This has 24 pattern papers in here. There's 16 styles. There's 3 of each pattern, so it makes it really nice. They're double-sided. I love the soft tones. You have soft and bright tones. I just love this pattern paper. Okay, you get your stamp set. Pretty fabulous stamp set that goes with all of your dies. Bird themed, of course. Goes with Feathered Friends. And this is a quality photopolymer stamp set too. Great for all kinds of greetings. You also get some shaker toppings. Lots of toppings, I have to say. And there's different variety of colors here too. Or not only are there different variety of colors, but there's different styles too. Like these are almost like, I want to say kind of like rock candy maybe. It has a really shininess to that. That's really pretty. These ones here are silver circles and gray flowers. Pretty. And then this green one here is almost like that rock candy, like this one here. And then you have these two that are pretty similar. And then you have these pink ones. I have little circles in there. So lots of different styles of toppings too. And I love that there's some matte, some shiny. We're going to be using that in our bird feeder. We're going to create a card with the bird feeder. This is your die set. Loads and loads of dies. There's 31 steel dies in here. Everything you need to create, well, let me show you. Everything you need to create bird feeders, bird nests, 3 different bird houses. You have a picket fence, some florals. You have a grassy area. You have a bird bath with the water coming out. How cute is that? There's cardinal. There's a cardinal. And then there is a hummingbird. And then there's 2 other birds here. So 4 birds in total. Lots of Feathered Friends in here. You have a tree branch. And then you also have, the nest has little baby birds that you can put together. I think that was so adorable. There's even a bow that you can attach to the bird feeder. So many options you can do with this die set. So that's everything in our Feathered Friends kit. What we're going to do is do some die cutting. Now I do want to mention that Queen & Co. does have a solids 6x6 mat stack for Feathered Friends. This has a lot of colors that coordinate beautifully with this, and I'm going to be mixing and matching pattern papers with the solids for my card today. And then I'm also going to be bringing in my Foundations 3 die set. I think this is a staple when I make cards. I just love these 2 dies, so we'll be using these on our cards. Okay, I'm going to pick out some pattern papers, and we're going to start with our shaker card today. Okay, I picked out some pattern papers. I have these pattern papers. Okay, what we're going to do is create some leaves. So we have this die here. And it's connected so you don't lose them, which is really nice. And I'm going to die cut out several leaves here. I have brown cardstock I brought from my stash, and I'm going to create a tree trunk with this. Okay. I have pattern paper here, the yellow, and then this is from our solids. What I'm going to do, you know what's nice is the pattern paper. You can actually save a little bit of time and double up when you die cut. That's the great thing about the pattern paper. And I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. I'm going to take this die here, this flower, and I'm going to die cut this out. I'm going to die cut this out a couple of times. Okay, what I mean when you can double up and run it through your die cut machine is I did the hummingbird. This is the hummingbird die. It's all one piece. So I wanted white cardstock, and then I wanted, I want to actually create two hummingbirds. So I die cut out 2 pieces of white cardstock. It's hard to tell. I die cut them out together. So, okay, but with the colored cardstock, you can do the same thing. This one I die cut out 2, but in one swipe. So you can save a little bit of time when you die cut. Die cut out two at one time. I'm doing the same thing with my leaves. So I just run this through like this, and I can create 8 leaves. So that's my hummingbird. Now with these 2 pattern papers, we're going to create our bird feeder. This one here is our shaker element. I'm going to use the pink. And then this one here is pattern paper. It has little polka dots on there. It's hard to see on camera. I'm going to take the bird feeder top. We'll die cut this out. And then there's the bird feeder bottom here. We're going to die cut this out. Okay, and then I will be right back. I have everything die cut out, and I included, I created a background with this pattern paper. It's like a gingham print with the blue, and then I cut out a white panel for my background here. Okay, we're going to start by doing a little bit of ink blending and on our branches. I'm going to be using some oxide ink here, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color. This doesn't have to be very fancy. I'm just going to add a little bit of ink. And that's all there is to this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add my leaves to my branch, just using a little bit of glue. I think I want to put some over here too. Okay. I love that there's different sizes of leaves so you can mix and match them. Okay, and that is one of our branches. Let me show you on some white cardstock. So fun. Now I'm going to, for my next card, I'm going to create actually 3 more of these. So that's good to go. Now to create the flowers, very easy. I already did 2. They're layerable. So I had a light yellow flower. I want to put the dark base on it. And the darker yellow flower, I'll put the lighter base, kind of just switching it up a little bit. And then these flowers are good to go. Now to create my hummingbirds, both hummingbirds, this is pink, this is yellow. Both hummingbirds are facing the same way. So this is actually the same cardstock. Okay, I just flipped it over, and I did that intentionally so I would have 2 hummingbirds that look almost the same, but I wanted one the opposite direction. So this is very easy to do. Just take your cardstock and flip it around. Let me show you. See, they're both the same. I just took one and flipped it around like this and then die cut this out at the same time. I want my hummingbirds to be yellow, so I actually flipped them from pink to yellow. Okay, and then what we're going to do is take this is the belly of our hummingbird. One is going to be facing this way. The other one I'm going to flip around. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in some pink ink. And I'm not going to add, I have my blending tool. I'm not even going to add any ink. I'm just going to use the ink that's on my blending tool. And I'm just going to add a little pink here. We'll do that to both sides. And then we can add a thin bead of glue right along the belly. And then we can add this right along that curve. It's very easy to line up here. Okay, I'm actually not going to use the feet, the beak, or the eye. Okay, what I'm going to do is bring in a black marker, and I'm going to go ahead and go over the beak of our hummingbird with black. To me, this is just a little bit faster. If you want a little bit more dimension, you can add the beak, but for me, this is just easier. Now I'm going to add a little shading to our wings using the pink. So this one I'm going to add some shading here. I better add a little bit more here. Okay, and I have some yellow ink too. I'm bringing in a yellow ink. And I'm just going to mix those two together. I just think this looks so pretty. It makes those hummingbirds just stand out. Okay, we have another piece that goes on our hummingbird. Okay, this one goes for the second wing here. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue. And we can place this wing in its home. The same here. And again, this one is going to be upside down for hummingbirds. And there we go. And you can do this with any color, really. Just add a little shading to the wings. Now, for the eyes, I have some gems. These are just gems that I have for my stash. I like to add gems because it gives me some dimension to my hummingbirds. Okay. And then that is all there is to it. There's hummingbird feet, but I'm not going to add them. Any extra pieces, keep these because you can actually make another couple of hummingbirds with them. Okay. Now that our hummingbirds are done, we are going to layer both of these together, and then we're going to place these on the front of an A2 card. Once these are adhered, we are going to go ahead and create our shaker. I do want to mention that I used this pattern paper, and just using my scissors, I created a background for them. By adding a back, we can make a portable shaker. And I'll show you what I mean. Let's go ahead and take one of our foam pieces. Just pops out really easy. I'm going to remove the release paper off of the back of our foam, and then I'm going to add it to that back panel that we created. Queen Toe might have some some outline dies. If they do, I'll list it down below in the description area. Okay, anything that's overhanging, I'm going to use my scissors and just trim away. For my bird feeder, I'm going to be using this topping mix, and I'm just going to add it. Now I'm going to remove the backing off of the foam. It removes really easily. I'm going to add my acetate right over the top. And I love that shake. I love the sound that this makes. Okay, this is the bottom of our bird feeder. I'm going to go ahead and add that. I'm going to add a thin bead of glue right here at the bottom. I put glue just above the stitch line, and then I'm going to add the top of our bird feeder. I like that stitch detail, so I'm just going to glue it right at the top. Now I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to use the leftover foam. I'm going to cut some thin strips. And I'm going to add this to the back of our shaker element. Now, what I mean by portable is now our shaker, we can play around with the placement with it because we have that backing. That's the great thing about the background, the outline dies, is because you have that option. I'm going to bring in some white twine. Now, in our die set, you can use there's elements to create a twine in a bow. Okay, I'm not going to use that. I like the texture that real twine adds. So I'm going to add this. I'm going to add glue right at the top, and then I'm going to go ahead and place my bow. It may take a little bit of time to adhere. Meantime, I do want to pop this up with some foam tape. So I'm again going to bring in that leftover foam. These are really easy to cut into thin strips. And then we can go ahead and add this. Now I'm going to remove the release paper off of this foam, and then we're going to add our branch. Okay, so our bow is attached and we have some twine there. Of course, if you wanted to tuck your twine underneath your pattern paper, you could do that. Okay, we have some flowers now. I'm going to add little dots of glue, and we're going to add flowers to our tree branch. We're going to add this one here to the bottom. Now all we need is a greeting. We're gonna actually use some more of these flowers in our next card. Okay, let's put this to the side. I'm going to stamp the greeting that says "Missing You." And I'm going to place it all the way. I want to add it right here next to this. So this could be a disaster or not. I'm putting it all the way at the end of my acrylic block. And then I'm going to use some black ink. And I'm going to stamp this right over here to the left of our hummingbird feeder. My M is smeared just a little bit, but I think I can get away with it. That will finish off my first card. Super fun birdhouse. Now we're going to jump into our next card that's not a shaker. Now we're going to create some birds. The birds that we're using, we have this one here, and then we also have this one here. This is a cardinal, which is really fun. But we're going to be using this bird and this bird. I die cut it out with some pinks and whites. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see. Okay, what we're going to start by doing is we don't need the body. I'm going to have a pink bird here, but I do want to do a little bit of ink blending, a little pink, and then I'm going to add a little bit of yellow, not too much. And then just using my glue, I'm going to attach this to the belly of my bird here. Let's go ahead and attach this. And it's very easy. All you do is follow along the curve of the bird. Okay, we have a wing here. We're going to add a little bit of color to the white wing that we die cut out. Maybe a little yellow too. Wonderful. And then we have this color of wing. The nice thing about the birds is you can customize them. There's no right or wrong in how to design with them. This bird, I want 2 wings. So we have a lighter pink. And then with this wing, I'm going to pop this up with a small foam square here. We're going to just kind of overlap them. Okay, and then we have the beak, and then we also have the bird feet. Let's go ahead and put this over here. I'm putting it over here because I want to use a marker, just an orange marker, and I'm going to go over this. If you want to die cut this out with some orange cardstock, you could. Just a couple dots, and then we can add this to our bird. Okay, and then we're going to add a little dot of glue to the beak area. And then, now I'm going to use those black gems for my stash for the eyes. But again, there's eye that will die cut out. You could actually add that if you wanted. Okay, so that is bird one. I'm going to go one step further, and I'm going to use one of my markers, and I'm just going to add a little detail to my bird by adding some little dots. You'd be surprised what a few dots would do to a bird. And our bird number one is done, and I think he looks so cute. And that is our bird number one. Now we're going to work on our next bird, a light pink one. Okay, and bird number two is done. So these are our birds. And sky's the limit with the colors. I think some yellow birds or blue birds would be really cute. So much fun. Okay, now we're going to work on our background. Using my Foundations 3 die set, I die cut out the largest rectangle, and then I'm going to take the smaller one, and I'm going to create a window in this panel here. I'm going to run this through my die cut machine. I think I better tape it down. And I will run this through my die cut machine. Now I'm going to take the inside panel and I'm going to add a little bit of blue to the background. Just kind of. Now I have a strip of white cardstock. I'm going to stamp the greeting that says "Sending you a tweet hello." I'm just going to stamp it right here. Wonderful. And then I'll use my scissors and just trim this side here. Okay, I went ahead and created some more of those yellow flowers and some more of my branches the same exact way that we did with our very first card. Now I'm going to take my card base, using my frame as a guide. Here, exactly where I want it. And then I'm going to take this piece, add some glue behind it, and I'm going to use, we're just going to inlay this, tack it down. Okay, so this middle piece is perfectly positioned. Okay, I'm going to take my frame, and now I'm going to add a little bit of glue on the end of my branch here. I'm going to tuck it under my frame, and I'm just going to kind of play around with my placement. Okay, I'm going to flip this over now, and I'm going to put foam tape behind here. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it right over that inside piece. So now we have a little color. I love how soft this looks. So pretty. Then I'm going to go ahead and take my birds. Okay, I think this is going to work a little bit better. I switched out my greeting for a shorter greeting. I tucked my leaves under it. I think that looks really nice. Okay, now we have some flowers that we need to fill in. So we'll put some foam squares behind here. And then we can use flowers to fill in any open areas. think 4 is just the right amount. And then that will finish off that card. I'm not going to add any more embellishments because I think there's a lot going on in it. But this is just using the bird dies and the branch with our Feathered Friends kit. Let's take a look at both cards that we made today. A shaker card, and also just a die cut bird card that's just beautiful. That finishes my projects today. I thank you so much for joining me. Have a fabulous rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.